So, if you can describe in your own word, how significant is the role of emerging young entrepreneurs to SDG?
It's extremely important for entrepreneurs to be involved in the Sustainable Development Goals. I'd give some ideas that obviously they have to work very hard on climate change and environment, which is a challenge. There's opportunities for that. There's also opportunities in the healthcare sector that all of us are aware of. And when I mean the healthcare sector, it's a very wide sector holistically. There's opportunities in food, there's opportunities in drugs, there's opportunities in services and software under the health sector. And the other thing that's extremely important for entrepreneurs on the Sustainable Development Goals is for them to be aware of the education goals. And if there's ways that they can work together locally, regionally, and nationally to improve education, to do events around education, to educate the masses, to do socialization, to do creative advertising for their products that links into the Sustainable Development Goals, I think that would be very useful. There's also tremendous opportunities. I did mention the climate change and the environment. There's also tremendous opportunities in the oceans. And one of President Jokowi's big emphasis is maritime policy, is the oceans. And that's goal number 14 on the Sustainable Development Goals. And I think that's very important in terms of the fish remaining in Indonesia and cultivation of maritime projects, fishing projects, processing projects that Indonesia can do and entrepreneurs can work with in order to get better businesses and to acknowledge the Sustainable Development Goal number 14 in terms of the oceans, which is very important for me and very important for the maritime policy of the Indonesian government.
How can the young entrepreneurs and millennials of Indonesia can be involved in SDG?
I think first of all, they need to be aware of what they are. So there needs to be an educational campaign on that. Businesses that have a specific sector, they can take one of the Sustainable Development Goals. Like for instance, if somebody is doing learning or educational opportunities, they can take the Sustainable Development Goal of education. Or if somebody is doing job creation, they can take the Sustainable Development Goal of labor or poverty alleviation and work on that. Or they can do the environment and the climate change. So there's 17 different sectors that they can work on. I think the other concentration that they need to look at is how can their business holistically help people? So if they're in an education sector, how will this educate more people in Indonesia? Or if they're in a health sector, how will this keep people healthier? Or if they're in an environment sector, will my business cut down less trees? So I think there needs to be an awareness, a familiarization, and socialization campaign. And businesses can help the UN and the government of Indonesia, who signed on to the Sustainable Development Goals, to publicize, to advertise, to create awareness and campaigns for Sustainable Development Goals, which is very important for the 255 million people in Indonesia to learn what the Sustainable Development Goals are and to adapt them and to embrace them as their own in the future. Well, I do have, there's some things that I do always like to add when I do remarks like this, and I'm like, one, I ask entrepreneurs brainstorm the ideas with the Sustainable Development Goals to promote social entrepreneurship. 2, do something every day to save one tree. 3, encourage and promote education in your family, your friends, and colleagues. 4, work hard to find a role to find a way that you can enter and promote the Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs. 5, remember your job in a democracy is not to get from your country, but to give to your country. 6, be brave and outgoing. 7, reach out to leaders and colleagues who are changing the world. 8, realize and make opportunities in the green economy, which are very, very big opportunities. Dig and discover. 9, don't be afraid to point out governance failures in a lawful and appropriate way with solutions. And 10, incorporate, study, and envision big data in your work. Big data is your work, not only the work of computer scientists. So those are 10 ideas, and I hope that your readers would be able to embrace some of these ideas and suggestions and tips and incorporate the SDGs in their work, create the awareness of the SDGs, and adapt some of the SDGs in their entrepreneurship, in their companies, and in their ventures that they're going to invent, manage, and lead in the future.